Welcome back to the West Ham Network. You've just witnessed West Ham get beat 2-1 by Liverpool at home. But I'm going to be brutally honest with you. I don't understand the rules and regulations of football. I obviously don't get it. I don't understand it. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't know at what point you give someone a handball or you don't give someone a handball. It's such a contentious decision. You have to talk about it. It's the main talking point of this game. So late in the game, Thiago drops to the ground and he doesn't just handle the ball once. He actually technically doesn't handle the ball just twice. He controls the ball with his elbow, under his elbow. Honestly, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And I don't know how they can make a decision so clearly, so clear as day, like that. Like quite easily wipe away the fact that we should have got a penalty there in the end. It's so frustrating. Like, no wonder David Moyes is going to go raging. No wonder Declan Rice has been raging. No wonder the players are going over to the referee. It's such a shit decision because for me, I think when you've got a clear cut opportunity, and they say you always hear when you look at these decisions that are made is when if the hand is in an unnatural position, like so, for example, if the hand's down close to your body here in this position here, and the ball hits your hand, it's totally different. If your hand's here and the ball hits your hand, it's totally different. But from my understanding is if your hand, so not if it's fully stretched, then it's not that is a handball. Now, listen, Thiago's hand wasn't fully stretched, but let me just do and give you the example of how I think his hand was there. That's where his hand was. So he's gone to the ground, he's touched it with his hand and his arm, touched it again, controlled it with his elbow, and then they've kicked the ball away. How can that not physically be a penalty? I don't understand it. It's such a shame that it's got to that point now, but I know you win some and you lose some. But I think what's frustrating is it's so blatant. It's the blatantness of it. It's so frustrating at how blatant this one is. And I'm not trying to I don't know. I don't know how to I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to think. Like, I'm happy with the fight. I'm happy with our counter attack. There's things I'm happy with. There's things I'm not so happy with. But for me, for me, that game is tarnished from the shit decision at the end that can literally give us a point in the game. And you can't help but think it constantly favors the opposition. It does. I don't care what anyone says, man. I'm so fed up of it. I'm so fucking fed up of it. It's ridiculous. It's one of the most ridiculous decisions, again, that I think I've saw this year. Again, and we're on the receiving end of it. I'm not trying to cry, I don't know. I'm stuck for words, to be honest with you. I'm really pissed off and angry and annoyed, and it's not really at the West Ham team. I can't be angry at the West Ham team. I thought we actually did an okay job. I think Liverpool are the way that they are. They set up in a specific style of play. They're going to want possession. They're going to try and get at you. They're patiently playing. I think I looked at the stats of the game, and you could see the amount of times and the amount of time they were on the ball, the amount of passes they wanted to make in the game. That's their game. That's their football. And I think West Ham are prepared for that. I think most opposition teams are prepared for it. I don't necessarily think we didn't go at them either. I think that what we did was enough to try and get something from the game within reason. But I mean, you can look at the statistics all you want all day long, and you can see 72% possession to Liverpool to West Ham's 28%. They had 20 shots to West Ham's 7. They had 4 on target to West Ham's 2. They had 9 on target to West Ham's 4. 7 block shots to West Ham's 1. But I think essentially, I was happy with our counter attack. I thought our counter attack was really good. And I thought it was fine margins between putting the ball in the back of the net. That was the disappointing thing. It comes back to fine margins, particularly in the first half as well. Benrahma's game picked up in the second half. He had better game. He was tracking back, winning the ball. He was doing better in the final third. He wasn't a game changer in any way, and I think it was the right decision to bring him off. I thought Corney had a quiet game when he came on. Danny Ings had a quiet game when he came on. He was running around doing as usual in the back line, but it wasn't really causing anyone any problems. I thought Antonio was our best player up top, so maybe bringing him off. I know he was tired, he was leggy, but he still gave us the best option, I think, really, essentially, up top. And the corner decision to put Benrahma on Matip, I don't know if that was what it should have been. I don't know if that's what they were trying to achieve. But that's what happened. You put a player who's sitting middle 5 foot against a player who's 6 foot odd. You're never going to win that battle all day long, especially with an outswinger into the mix, onto the penalty spot. The player's running in. He's got no momentum. Benny loses his tracker. Of course he does. But, I mean, the guy's looking up at him like bloody Empire State Building. And that's frustrating. But essentially, for me, the talking point, and you might find that people were like, well, we can't talk about the talking point at the end of the game. Yes, you can. Yes, you absolutely can. Because that's the most blatant handball you're going to get. It's a handball in the penalty box, and it's not being given, and I don't understand it. I literally don't. It doesn't make sense to me. I jumped through some of the comments. I could keep going on about it. I'm so frustrated at it because I don't understand the favoritism for it. I don't get it. Like, go to VAR. Like, if you go to VAR, check it. Like, how is that not a handball? Like, what's the reason behind it? He slipped. Is that what they're saying? Well, where's the consistency? I'm talking at things that you know. I'm talking about things that you know, but that is ridiculous. That's cost us a something from this game. I don't think, Anton, that they know when is handball. I really don't think they do, mate. I really don't think they do. I don't know how that's not blatant. That's extremely blatant. Again, I have to say it like it's the arms here. It's not fully stretched. I wonder if what they're saying is the arm has to be fully stretched. The rule doesn't state that. The rule says, from my understanding, a clear and obvious. Do you know what? I'm going to pull this up right now. FA handball rules, right? Let's see what they actually fucking say. Hold on, confirmed decision, FIFA, right? Let's have a look here. Sorry, I have to do this. I have to do this because it's right. Deliberately touches the ball with a hand, arm, for example, moving the hand and arm towards the ball. Touches the ball with a hand and arm when it's made their body unnaturally bigger. I mean, I don't need to say it to you anymore. A player is considered to have made their body unnaturally bigger when the position of the hand, arm is not consequence of or justifiable by the player's body movement for that specific situation. By having their hand and arm in such a position, the player takes a risk of their hand and arm being hit by the ball and is being penalised. Scores in the opponent's goal directly from their hand. Right, forget that. Accidental handball that leads to a teammate scoring a goal or having a goal scoring opportunity will no longer be considered an offence. We don't need to know that. But essentially, this is the one here that I'm going to bring up to you. And for me, that is absolutely night and day, and clear as mustard as to why we should have walked away with that. I don't want to constantly just say and just go on. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm struggling with that one. I'm struggling. I'm so fucking angry, man. I need to take a breather. An offside for 2 centimeters. Freno as well. The thing is, when it comes to these offside things, right, I really don't trust the VAR system. I really don't. I don't trust it. I don't trust the lines they put on. Have you seen what was the game? What was the game? Was it last year where they drew a line and it was like blatantly off? Like, I don't know how you can tell so blatant. I don't know how we in the Premier League and in the sport of football can get VAR so wrong. You know, the most expensive game in the world and get it so wrong. But then you can look at tennis, who've got Hawkeye, and it seems to be clear as mustard, man, clear as day what they do. And we can't get the same thing going again. Ref gives nothing against the top six. Heck of a goal from Paqueta. I feel really sick to my stomach, actually. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm really struggling with this one. That's a really sick to the stomach feeling. Liverpool got away with that. I'm not going to lie to you. Yeah, okay, if you look at possession, you look at stats, you look at how they drive forward. But apart from what? Clear-cut chances in the first half, what did they have? I think most of our chances were clear-cut chances and we were lucky not to put the ball in the back of the net. Subs earlier, yeah, possibly, but I don't know, mate. Like, I didn't want Antonio off the park. Antonio was having a really good game. So, what? Possibly Benrahma, but he started off the second half a bit better. And they did make the substitution. I don't know. I don't know what's the right thing because I'm actually trying to think who our substitutions were. Let me have a look here. Fornals, possibly Lanzini. But you can see, I mean, our bench isn't all that. Like, what game changes are there? I think Fornals possibly could have given us the work rate in the middle of the park. You know, possibly even put Fornals out in the left and bring Rama through to the middle. I don't really fancy seeing Benrahma out in the left. It doesn't tickle my fancy. I don't get the enjoyment from him being out there. I'd rather him through the middle and Cornet out in the left if possible, or Fornals doing something like that. But yeah, it's very frustrating. Benny seems out of touch with his teammates. Do you know what? He does some world-class stuff 1 second, and then the next second is can't even he can do really good passes. I don't know where my microphone is. He can do really good passes, and then it's his final third. It's his delivery. It's what he does with the end product. I'm just not happy about it as well. Alan says, I said earlier, mate, you'll get a decision against the top six. The ref has now been in charge of 12 games for Liverpool, and they have won 11, robbed again. And I know people always say, oh, you need to get your high horse about this whole VAR decision, but it's so bloody true, man. It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. It goes to show that it's all fixed, and GP says 100%. All Dither and Dave's fault. Wrong team selections, playing with 10 men again. Ashley, I mean, tell me though, what would you have done that would have been different for today's game? I'll be honest with you. I think the decision to bring Antonio off, where he had leggy legs, wasn't the right decision. It wasn't the right decision because he was actually having one of the best games he's had in a long time. Again, he was causing them problems. His link-up play with Paqueta was really well. His link-up play with the midfield was really good. He was holding off the ball. And then suddenly we pull him off. I don't think it's the right decision because I don't think Danny Ings has got that in him to play against Liverpool with the legs. I mean, we've brought off a leggy leg player in Antonio and put on a player that can't run. I'm not being horrible to Danny Ings. I like him, but it doesn't make sense to me. Work rate lacking at times from Benny, more of an individual. Mandy G says, I think the difference though, Mickey, is you put him through the middle. And you might see a different player. The difference with Antonio is that the ref gave the pen, and VAR will only overrule if it's a clear, obvious mistake. If the ref give this one, it stands with VAR. Yeah, but Mandy, it's clear and obvious for me. It's clear and obvious. Is it not clear and obvious? Absolutely dominated the whole game. It's a fair result. Mr. Boombastic. No, it's not, mate. You can look at stats all you want. I read them out. You can have 800 passes all you want. It's what you do with it. It's what you do with it. Tell me now your clear and cut chances and relate them to our clear and cut chances. We take our chances and we're robbed of a penalty at the end. Don't be so stupid, man. I don't get it. What the fuck again? Exactly. Top favoritism, basketball, handball. Moist take blame for this. These saying Liverpool deserve to win because they dominate possession, simply have no clue about football. We talked to you about the stats for the reason that they're there for us to look at. It's interesting to look at them, but it doesn't mean it's all that. You can be 90%. I mean, last year we played Aston Villa. We had the crappiest game we've played, and we drew with them 2 each, and Benrahma got 2 goals and had the crappiest game in a West Ham shirt. It means nothing really, essentially. Not a penalty for me, but there's no consistency. 1 week that is given, the next it isn't. And I think that's the problem, Ewan. You're entitled to your own opinion. I think it is a penalty, but you're right. It's the consistency levels that are wrong. The question I'll ask for you, Ewan, is have you seen penalties given for less? Because I have. Dramatically less. Mickey says finishing not best, but it's not a penalty. They argued he couldn't help falling onto the ball. But why fall on the ball? Did his arm stop a scoring attempt? Yes. Was it extended? Yes. Thiago is a good basketball player. Result aside, I think the performance was miles ahead of the draws we've been watching earlier this season. We actually tried hard and looked good on the counter. His arm blocked the ball moving for Ings from Matt B. Gary says, if that happens down the other end, he would have given a penalty. I genuinely believe, Gary, they would have given a penalty for that. And that's a good way of putting it. With that had happened on the other end, and that was a Gerd's hand, would Liverpool walk away with a penalty and be up 3-1? 1,000,000%. 1,000,000%. GP, did I dream this, but I didn't have a goal ruled offside when Antonio was laying on the floor seasons ago? Probably, yeah. Scott R, not arguing, that's their argument. Gerd was immense. I thought it was great. I thought, actually, Zuma had a fucking fantastic first half, and Gerd had a fucking top-notch second half. 100%. Antonio should have scored a couple of times. Sick to death of us being robbed points from 40. Absolutely. Sean says we're a joke. Are we? Are we really? Are we? Are you disappointed in that performance? How can Antonio be given handball when his back is turned against the ball when clearly Liverpool play with face on? It's a hand twice. Don't understand, in my opinion. It's fixed. It's really tough, man. It's tough. It's a tough one to take on the chin. Liverpool got away with it in 81. Kennedy League Cup final. We're not safe yet. Must turn up Saturday, James. You're right, mate. We must. We absolutely must. VAR top 6 yet again in handball, basketball. Mark says Livar pull strikes again. Handball, no check. Ridiculous. I don't actually know. Did they check it? And also, it's always the next day. It's really intriguing to hear what the ref says when you go on Sky Sports. I can't remember who the ref is, the retired ref, and what he says. But I just don't know because as a fan who's watched football for all these years, I don't understand how a blatant handball is not a penalty. I don't understand it. My understanding is, again, like if I'm not looking at the ball, years ago, from my understanding was if you're not looking at the ball but your hand's there and you hit it with your hand, it's touch and go whether that's a penalty. Thiago completely knows where his hand is. Doesn't matter if it's landing. And even if he is falling and if he lands, he touches the ball 3 times with his hand and his arm. Scott says Palace are very beatable right now. McManaman on BT Sports is so biased. You can say that again. I couldn't even listen to Andy Townsend in the end there. Yeah, they reckon he couldn't help slipping it onto the ball. What's the rules? What's not the rules? How's Antonio's a handball and that wasn't travesty? It's disgusting, very frustrating and blatant. It really is. Old Boys Club once again from Bedford Hammer. Mickey Ruff, Antonio can put the ball in the net more so though. Steele, Arsenal screwed in the irons effed over frustration. James Hammer, if that was the other way it would be given, I completely agree. Would have been 100%. Yes, Old Boys Club, so awful. 1 rule for us and 1 rule for them. Let's see if we can bring DJ Russie B into the house. Russie B, mate. I'm intrigued to hear your thoughts on the penalty shout at the end, mate.
In all honesty, if it was a European game, we would have got a penalty. That's what I think. Because
if it comes up our end and that's a Gerd, do Liverpool get the penalty?
No, I honestly don't think so. I honestly don't think so. Because honestly, for Europe, it would have been a penalty. Because anything, if it's accidental or whatever, but Premier League has this slightly different rule. It's slightly different. I don't know what it is, but you could see he was falling down and he couldn't. I mean, I as a West Ham fan, I'm gutted we didn't get it. My floor manager, she had Ben Rama, she had Javier, the goalkeeper coach, she had everyone around her trying to figure out if it'd been gone to VAR, and they did a very, very, very quick check during the game while still in play. But as I said, if it was Europe, we would have got a penalty. But Europe has a different rule. It's like fouls, isn't it? If you touch someone and they go down in Europe, you get a penalty.
I can't. Again, there's so many people in the chat. Like I'm quite disgusted at it, if I'm being brutally honest, because I said to someone earlier on in the chat that it's the inconsistencies that get me. So I asked a question to Ewan, who wrote a message in the chat, and I said to him, "Have you seen worse penalties given on that basis in the Premier League?" So the inconsistency is what makes it worse. Now, when you see Thiago, start to fall on the ball, it wasn't like a slip, really bad slip, but he clicks the ball with his arm. He touches the ball with his arm. He drops, he touches the ball with his arm again. It is a little bit like basketball, jokes aside. He then gets to the ground and he kind of collects it with his elbow. He's collected it. And he's kind of, and then bang, it's gone away. So for me, it's, and the other problem I've got with it is that if your hand's here, it's different, but it's not, Russ. It's here. It's not fully stretched, but it's here. And
you're right. It's not there. It's not up here. It's there. But and again, it's the fact is you and me both got two. We're on the same side. We've got 2 different opinions. So for me, I think he's falling and his arms outstretched. I don't think he could avoid not touching the ball. So I think there is inconsistencies. You have seen it given for a lot less, and it will probably go to review, and we'll probably get told tomorrow that they made a mistake. But it doesn't go from the fact that it wasn't given at the time. And I think they must have given it the smallest of checks. Same as Jared's goal. That was very, very quickly ruled off for offside. Usually it takes about 20 minutes for them to find out if it's offside or not. But they were very, very quick to rule that goal out for offside as well. So
and I think this is one of the other biggest issues as well. I'm reading a lot of stuff online, and it's really clear as mustard. And this is someone writes here, when the penalty was given against Antonio, I remember explicitly saying I do not understand the handball rule anymore, because to me that was an accidental as it gets. So what's going on with the Thiago handball? Does the rule book just say just do whatever favours the big six side? Rasheen Thomas, good friend of the channel, Moyes, Areola and Ogbonna seeking clarification from ref as to why the penalty wasn't given. The main frustration is 1 week a handball similar to Thiago's is given, and then the following week it's not. There's no consistency.
Was it Souček against Chelsea I think there was a similar handball incident when we were playing Chelsea, and we got a penalty for it, or Chelsea got a penalty for it. Very similar situation. It is, but irrespective of whether that came into play, they were there for the taking. They really were there for the taking. We looked tired. I think we looked tired. We look like a side that's played 4 games in 12 days or whatever. For 80% of that squad have done, and I think we just looked tired. And Liverpool just knew how to get around us. I thought,
Russ, a question for you. Tommy came on at half time and was saying how disappointed he was in Benrahma in the first half in particular, and he said he'll be really unlucky. He'll be really lucky if he comes back on the field in the second half. He was pulled off, but I thought Antonio was having a really good game. Yes, he looked leggy, right? But I actually thought Antonio was having a really good game. He was being effective. His hold-up play was really good, and he felt like he was building up a bit of momentum, even though he was leggy. My concern about bringing on Ings is there's no difference.
Nah.
So you're bringing on a leggy striker for a leggy striker, and I'm just like, oh, come on, man. Like, just leave Antonio on. He's got a little bit of momentum. What's your thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, he's got a real vein of form at the moment, isn't he? I mean, he is literally beast mode at the moment. He terrorised them. I mean, personally, he spent most of his time on the left wing, in all honesty, with Benrahma playing in the middle quite a lot the first half, particularly. So I would have just taken Benrahma off and put Cornet through the middle and then lifted Antonio out the wing just to drift around. I think Ings is ineffective in one up front, and you could say, well, he pushed up Paqueta, but that doesn't do enough for me. Doesn't do enough for me, to be honest, in that position.
Yeah, so many people in the chat. I don't know, Russ. Like I know we're all entitled to our own opinions, and obviously that's it, But there's a lot of people here now. The officials are disgusting. From Paul, they change the rules to go along, and I do think this game has kind of been tarnished a little bit from that rule because of the inconsistencies. It highlights again another problem with VAR. No one can, there's a blatant handball, but no one can define whether or not that is a handball, if that makes any sense. Nobody can define. It's ridiculous. You see one last week. You were talking about Souček from Conor Gallagher's shot earlier in the season, when, that...
Same thing.
Yes, same thing within reason, but it's very, very frustrating. What else did you think about the game? I mean, Paqueta?
Oh, well, I mean, I as I said, I love the fact that you're on a slight delay. So I see the goal, and I just literally I flick on and watch your reaction. I mean, that first goal, he started and finished it. What a great goal by him. And again, I thought he had a good game. Same as always, a few flicks and tricks don't come off, but I thought he played. He got stuck in. I thought Fabinho didn't have it easy against him as well. His Brazilian counterpart. I just thought it just seemed like a game too far in terms of energy levels. We've been the last 3 games or so, high pressing, and it just takes its toll if you play the same side all the time, which is what he's done. And, in essence, pretty much 80% of the side is the same side as played It's played Arsenal, it played Fulham, it played Ghent, it played Bournemouth. So it's not surprising they're a bit tired. And I think Liverpool just knew how to stretch us. I was always worried every time it went wide, just because their pace, isn't it? But I thought Agard played really well. A couple of misjudged balls, but didn't really give Salah much of a sniff, I think. There was loads of foot races he won. I thought he played really well defensively. I thought Zuma played well defensively as well. You've got Agard is the guile and Zuma is the grit. And it works as a two. I would have probably liked to see Emerson today instead of Crest, but I don't think Crest put too much of a foot wrong, to be honest. But they all just looked a bit tired. That's what I thought. Yeah. It was flat. The game, the crowd were flat. It just felt a bit flat today. I think people, particularly after yesterday as well, I think everyone was a bit knackered, it seemed. And the team felt the same. It was just one of those games, and it's like it could easily have been the other way.
Shall I bring the clip up? Shall I put the clip up?
No, don't, just in case, mate.
Right, okay.
We can all see it. We can all see it on Twitter and stuff.
I'm watching it again. Thiago dives in. Thiago tackle, ball down. Nah, penalty. Penalty. I'm looking at it again.
Well,
It is a penalty. It is a penalty.
Unfortunately, it's not our decision, is it? And that's the trouble.
I'm going to have to screenshot these pictures, Russ.
Yeah, but that's the thing. We can screenshot it, but it doesn't matter. It's happened, and I think the trouble is we'll sit on that and stew on that now for the next day or so. But actually, we've got to put our big boy pants on, move on. Crystal Palace on Saturday. Win that game, we're up. We're staying up.
Yeah,
and it's tarnished the game, no doubt today. And as I said, we may well get a thing from the PGMOL to say sorry, because they've been doing it more often than not. But it's like,
thanks.
Yeah, thanks, but no thanks. Although sometimes you say that when they put one of those things out, the next time there's a penalty, you do tend to get a bit more going your way, because it's almost like they know they fucked up before. That's happened before. I think it was. I can't remember who was the goal the other day. They've apparently, since, was it last year, they've done 11 apologies or something like that, where they've made complete issues. So
I'm sorry, Ross, I'm just trying to get this last picture. It's too. I know what you're saying. I just want to. It's just yeah.
Because when you put anything as a still as well, and again, it's the fact is you and me have got different views of it. You can understand why there's been different. There's VAR hasn't pulled it up, but because I mean the ref was right in front of it, so he was watching. He was in a perfect position. So for him not to even suggest anything, to me says he was pretty clear in his opinions, like pretty sharpish. Because he was actually bent down. If you see the ref, he's actually almost squatting in the eye line of Thiago. So, I mean, yeah, Klopp will come out and say they probably stole that one. To be honest, Ben Rama and Antonio lost the runner of Matip. They should have been tight to him defensively, and we would have come away with a draw.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
So, yeah.
I'm going to read the rest of the comments here. What I meant was Flynn instead of Souček or Fornals or Benny. James the Hammer says too many games so quick has caught up with us.
Yeah.
Antonio's finishing isn't good enough. Anton, chill. It's a bitter loss. I know from Artel. Yes, Liverpool have all them top players and are crap. Oh God. I know it's very frustrating, Mandy. It is. Last year, Mickey Ruff, Dan B says, don't think it was a penalty. We should look at how we let in the 2 goals. Might not even make Europe. Laugh out loud. Let me just have a look here. I'm just downloading these for you now, just for everyone just to... Sorry, Russ. I'm slightly... This whole thing's just got to me. All day long, a penalty. Weak decisions on handball has been given. Antonio got given one facing the wrong way. Ben Rama is awful at the moment. Jerry, Russ?
Yeah.
Benny?
Not it for someone who hasn't had Moyes' ear for the best part of his career at West Ham. He is almost like Souček. He seems undroppable at the moment, and I don't know why. You saw there was a couple of times in the second half, just before he was taken off, where he misplaced the ball, and you saw Nolan, Phelan, and Moyes all throw their arms up in the air, and pretty much straight away they made the sub with Cornet.
Here's so just quickly. Sorry, here's some of the stills, just to let people see them. The thing is, he collects the ball, he loses it, and he dives in for the tackle. Danny Ings takes it away. He's the one that's engaged the tackle. His arm goes down, touches it once, touches it twice.
There's no denying it touches it. There's
touches
no denying
it 3 times. Yeah.
We know he touches it. There's no denying, but it's whether there's intent. And there's been times where this season where balls have touched him and there clearly hasn't been intent, and yet they still give the penalty. So that's what you mean, inconsistency. For me, that's not. I don't see that as the letter of the law. That's not a penalty because it's not intentional. His arm isn't in an awkward position, and he's falling down. But you've seen them given, as you said, and it's the inconsistencies that's the issue. The fact is that if the rule was so set in stone and we were working with the rule properly, we would have all agreed straight away to say no penalty because there was. But
I mean, I know we're not here to do the review or the preview of the Palace game, but people are saying here can't start Benny against Palace. Got to be Fornals instead. What do you think?
yeah, I think you need. I think you miss. I mean, the fact is because we've lost, Moyes will probably change it. As we know, he never changes. He doesn't tend to change it. Doesn't tend to change a winning team unless he can help it. So I think you will see changes. I think Benny comes in. Benny goes out and it's a Fornals or Cornet in. Maybe even Emerson because it's a quick turnaround. It's Saturday 12:30, so it's not like you've got the Sunday game. It's pretty quick. So for me, I think it's a game too much Cress. I would like to see Emerson in there. I just think he gives you a bit more forward momentum. Yeah, Cress has got great crossing. He's got a great left foot, but Emerson brings it forward a lot more. Almost plays. I mean, you saw Trent today. Trent plays like that auxiliary midfielder, and Emerson does that quite a lot. He actually spends most of the time in the attacking half rather than the defensive half, and I think we need that. It just brings everyone forward a bit more. But yeah, that's my only change, I think.
Benny off for Fornals all day long. Ings is too old now. Rather leave a tired Antonio on. Corny isn't good enough to come on in a game like this. Your countdown, Mikey says there's a human aspect to each referee decision, but this just hurts. Same with the toe offside. You know what? That's the other thing, Russ, as well. You know, that's a tough one to take because you don't know how much you can trust VAR. You've seen it earlier on this season when they draw the lines and how sometimes they're wonky. I know I'm grasping at straws here, but it's so fine. It's such fine lines or fine margins are such a wonderful thing, aren't they? And it's so unlucky because when we scored that goal, I thought that was us, man. I thought that was it.
But at least with the VAR, even if you're a millimetre offside, you're a millimetre offside. Do you know what I mean? And there's some sort of consistency. It's like when the ball crosses the line, it's either cross the line or not cross the line. It's when there's subjective calls like this today, like the handball. As you said, if it was. If that happened 10 times, you'd probably get 6 penalties, maybe. And so we were one of the unlucky 40%.
Yeah.
But the fact is, even if it had gone to the screen, because of the position of the referee, he would have probably given it away anyway. He wouldn't have changed his mind. So there you go.
Everyone's asking me to stop talking about it, so I will stop talking about it. Russ, what do we do moving forward? How do you?
Dust ourselves off and go. The wheels are going to have to come off sometime of this, run. But we've got a great opportunity with Palace. Couple of changes, freshen up a little bit. We looked a bit leggy. Give them a day's rest, then come in on Friday, crack on, and the fact is, as I said, a decent result against Palace and we're safe. And then we've got the Manchester week anyway, haven't we? City and then United. So for me, then I'd probably put a slight weakened team out for Man City and get everyone fully fit for the Man United game. We're doing what they did. So do you remember when we played them in the Cup and they put out all the fucking trophies and well done to De Gea for winning the glove and shit like that? That's what we're doing. We've got all the 18s parading around before pre-match and stuff like that, showing off their trophies and shit like that just to fuck them off. So, it's because there's so many games in quick succession. You haven't got time to dwell on it. You've got to move on. And
you're right, mate. You're right. Although I haven't seen Moyes that livid for a long time with the ref, he always keeps himself nice and calm, but doesn't he? So, but you're right, mate. I think they'll go in. Rice was losing the plot. Everyone was losing the plot come the end of the game, but I think they'll move on now. We'll move on to Saturday, 12:30 kickoff. We need to get over it, and we've got a couple of days of interesting content for you as well. Mickey says, "Want to see you healthy for the Palace game? Chin up, Anton. Want to see you buzzing. Don't worry, I'll be there, mate. I'll be there."
But also, another thing is the fact of that the injustice, so to speak, will bring that team together even more.
Yeah,
because they know they should have got at least a point out today.
Yeah,
and they know couple of silly defensive mistakes cost them that game. So
yeah.
What do you think of the game?
I'm going in. Someone talking to you? Who's that? No. Are they not? No.
No.
You what?
You show me some pictures.
All right, I was just showing the pictures of the game there for people, anyone who wants to see. But I mean, what a fantastic goal it was from Paqueta. He started the Declan Rice with a fantastic tackle, brings Paqueta and Antonio with a good bit of work rate in the middle of the park. He shoots from distance and smashes it first time into the back of the net. It's a fucking fantastic goal from him.
Great goal.
Gapco replies though with a 30-yarder, unmarked. A bit disappointed at our manner and how we didn't really close him down in the middle of the park. Snatch and grab, got the goal, and then of course, I suppose what the disappointing thing is with the corner, Russ, Benny, Matic shouldn't have been on him, shouldn't have been anywhere near him.
Antonio as well. You saw both of them sort of went like, and they just let him run free header. It was a simple goal, and that's the frustrating thing. We've been quite recent games have been quite tight defensively, and that was a really simple goal to concede, and it was just frustrating because it should have been an easy goal. It was a quite easy run, quite telegraphed, and defensively just very poor. That's a frustrating thing because we could have come out there for a draw. We thought it was going to be a 1-1 draw, 2-2 draw, and I think that was what we were going to expect to be. A fair result would have been that, I think.
We've given this game enough time. If you're new around here, hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up, enjoy it, put it in the comments, let us know your feedback. Well, maybe don't give us the feedback because we don't want to get the feedback on this game anymore. We're going to move on to Crystal Palace for Saturday. The refs done us of a point at least. Someone's getting booed. Is it you, Russ?
What's your YouTube channel?
West Ham Network.
West Ham Network, yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
Do you come and talk? Yeah, do you want to come and chat? Do a chat?
I'm eating.
Oh, you eating? All right, mate. Got him. So we got, mate. What's your name?
Jordan.
Jordan. So thoughts on today, Liverpool?
I don't know. I mean, we started off well, and then it just fell to shit, basically, I think. We just lost the momentum.
I just thought we looked knackered.
Yeah,
I thought everything looked flat. The crowd were flat today, kick-off. I thought the fat players, I just think it was a game too much for some of them.
I think we gave them too much respect.
Yeah, good shout.
I think we thought, it's Liverpool, but we've got to forget they're like 5th or 6th in the league. They're there for a reason.
Yeah.
They've fallen off. I think they didn't look particularly good. I think Trent was somewhere where we could exploit it. I don't think Ben Rama really.
He ain't done it. I don't know. The last few games, it's quite funny the fans were calling out for Ben Rama to really sort of moist the play more, and the last, I think it's been shit the last 3 or 4 games.
So, but when you make a sub, you want the players to kind of make an impact. I don't think Cornet was any different to the way Ben Rama played personally. But I mean, the ref didn't really help us out. There was definitely a penalty in my opinion.
I think, as we were saying, it's like I think if you ran that 10 times, I think you'd probably get 6 penalties and 4 no penalties because it's like one of those things where, I mean, I get the replays where I am, and for me it was like, well, I think he's fallen over and he's just put his arm out, but in Europe we'd have probably got a penalty. I think that's the trouble. What changes do we make for the Palace game? Because it's very quick turnaround.
I'm not sure. I think maybe Souček out, but maybe Fornals in the middle of the park.
Nice.
I don't want to. This thing with Ings coming on for Antonio, it doesn't work.
No.
We keep doing it and it doesn't work. I mean, if you're going to do... Sorry to interrupt.
That's right.
If you're going to do it, at least give someone for Ings to play with because he just looks lost.
Yeah. To be honest, I mean, I was watching Antonio. He spent most of the time on the left wing anyway, to be honest.
Yeah, he wasn't even up front as well. I saw one of Moyes' he was saying he was trying to play Paqueta more.
Yeah, and you saw that he was playing like almost as a second striker.
Yeah, I think he's slowly starting to.
Great goal
come to his
today,
brilliant goal. But after the goal, we just sat back. It's the same old stuff every season. I mean, hopefully we can go to Palace and win. But
well, hopefully, I think if we get a result against Palace, a positive one, a couple of 3 points, I think that's us done now in the league,
exactly.
And then just concentrate on Europe, then, isn't it?
If we finish 17th and win the Conference League, I'll take that.
I don't think anyone will care, really. You're totally right. I think as long as we win the conference, that's all we need to do now.
Exactly. Yeah.
Cheers, man. Nice. Cheers, buddy. Thank you very much. Nice one, mate.
All the best.
Take care, boys. Take care. This is Russ Live. Back to you, Anton.
Well, thank you very much, Russ, all the way live from the London Stadium. Got to end it on a bit of banter. Listen, join us tomorrow. Because we'll be talking about stuff. I don't even know what we'll be talking about, but just join us tomorrow. And Mikey's happy with that one. So much we can dissect. We'll dissect the game. We'll give you a bit of player ratings, but we do move on now to Saturday, because we'll have the presser coming up and some team news coming out of that as well, and potential changes coming your way. So join us for that over the next couple of days. Take it easy, everyone, and of course, come on, you Irons.
Go ahead.